So one of the things that I used to use in my career classroom, because I had a class where we did career examination, and I'm a career teacher as well. I've done time in that classroom, that type of a classroom setting. But what we did is we used, it's called the Myers-Briggs. It's a personality test, and I've talked about it before. I'm an INFP. But I've talked about it before, and what we did is we took our Myers Briggs personality test, and based on that, it would tell them what careers were good for them, and then they'd have to research those careers, and then they'd have to come back and kind of present them to the class and tell the class about these careers that they'd chosen and why they wanted to choose them and how they thought they might fit into that career. And then we looked at, like, college costs, that kind of stuff, and what all it involved. But that was one of the projects that I did, and I recommend it to anybody. It's not just for students. Like, it helps, because it gives you that, like, that information. It gives you who you get along with, who your romantic partner should probably be, like what you need to look for. It gives you all kinds of stuff, and it's like, but it also tells you what personalities you don't get along with. So I had a work situation where I had somebody who didn't get along with me, and I could not figure it out for the life of me. Why? And this person ended up creating a really dramatic situation for me. Really dramatic situation where I was struggling already. And then this person comes along and starts creating this huge drama that was like enough to, like, it was exhausting. And it wasn't fair to the work environment either. And so what I had to do is I had to, like, because, kids, they deserve to have stability. I'm just going to tell you, not drama. That's another of my soapboxes. Anyway, so what ended up happening, so instead of, like, going into that drama and continuing that drama, because I don't really want to do that, it's not my big thing. What I did was I remembered, okay, there's personality tests, and I remember doing this lesson, and it tells you who you don't get along with. And so what I ended up doing was I was like, she's totally that person. They are totally that person. That is their personality type. And I'm like, well, no wonder we don't get along. That makes so much sense. And so once I put her into that category, I could remove my emotions from it. Because if not, you're going to take it very personally when somebody doesn't like you, right? That's what most of us do. But it became a practice for me. Because you run into people that don't like you. And that's okay. It literally has to be okay. And from that, you start working on your people-pleasing stuff and the codependency that comes along with the people-pleasing. And I'm going to tell you, it took me a while to get past people-pleasing, but I'm there. It took me a long time. But I think the seeds were planted during that time because I started thinking, it's a personality type. And it's something that there's something about me and something about them that they don't mesh well. And so, of course, if they don't mesh well, I'm going to irritate those issues that they have. And I'm going to bring them to the surface. Either that or I'm going to trigger something. And I've had another work situation where I had a boss and it was just my appearance that she literally did not like me because I was blonde-headed and blue-eyed. And I was like, well, I must trigger something there. Because she did not like young blonde women with blue eyes. And I was like, that must remind her of somebody that hated her or that did her wrong. And so then from that, you start creating this space. You hold space for these people. You hold space. You hold space for them to feel a certain way about you without taking it personally. And that is so important in any kind of relationship, because if you start taking those things personally and you start trying to, like, make everybody happy and please everybody and make sure everyone loves you and is good with you, I'm going to tell you, you start morphing into like 15 different personalities. Instead of being who you are, your authentic self, you start morphing. And it's really hard to keep track. I don't know about you, but my brain does not store 15 different people. Maybe 3 tops. But of course you have to live by certain rules, but, like, if you don't know who you are internally, all you are these representations of what externally, like, of what people expect of you. Your identity it's not there. You've got to work on that. And you have to start thinking about people not liking you. It's gonna happen. It's just part of being human. And so it's like trying to make everyone, so I'm going to equate it to this. Think of yourself like a condiment. I can't imagine people not liking like sriracha, but there are people out there that don't like sriracha because it's way too spicy. And so, like, literally, I need you to start thinking about yourself like a condiment because people don't like things, and that's okay. We've made it okay. That's literally what this is. It's like a preference for certain behaviors around yourself and certain feelings around people. Like, some people just don't like your vibe, and that's okay. It's got to be okay because it's not personal. It's something that they just don't vibe with, and that's okay. It's not your job to make them like you, nor can you control if they like you or not, because even if you're people pleasing, you can't guarantee that they're going to like you. You're just putting all this extra work into nothing for a hope and a prayer that they might like you one day. And they probably don't, because they probably are seeing through that facade. Unless they like facades. Good Lord. See, everyone has a preference. And so you need to start thinking about yourself like a condiment. So sometimes people don't like mustard on their hamburger, and that's okay. They're missing out, but that's okay, right? And so you have to start thinking that way about people not liking you, that it's just a preference. And trying to get everyone to like you, it's like trying to collect every leaf in the world, every leaf. I'm going to collect them all. No. I'll tell you it's impossible. You can't collect every leaf. There's way too many. So you have to start thinking about it that way, because it's kind of a situation where you can't make people like you. But here's the opposite side of that. You hold space for them not to like you, but you don't take it personally, okay? And when you start taking it personally, then you start creating dramatic situations. Nobody needs that, especially in in any kind of relationship. The drama, you've got to that just wears me out. Unless you thrive on drama, and then that's a whole nother issue that I'm going to talk about eventually. But you can't thrive on drama. It wears people, it's toxic. And so you have to be careful about that. Now, thriving on drama, You want to thrive on peace, getting along, teamwork makes the dream work, group effort, right? Not this drama situation because you seem to not like somebody. So if you don't like somebody, don't create drama about it. Just let them be themselves and wish them light and happiness and let them go about their business and create that boundary there and allow them to create the boundary for themselves, where if you're in the same room, you don't have to sit anywhere near each other. You don't have to talk to each other. That's fine. It doesn't have to be that way. You just have to be sure that you are professional, or you are kind, or you are not even kind, that you aren't drama at them. And by drama, I mean you can't start rumors about them that aren't true. You can't gossip about them because you don't like them. You can't start picking at them and bullying them. That's like middle school behavior. And guys, middle school was 3 years of hell. I don't know if you remember that, but we were all freaking awkward. Unless you're in middle school right now. It'll be over soon. I promise. But we don't need to jump back into that childish behavior. We have to be careful about that, because people's identities and their reputations and their livelihoods are at stake whenever you start pulling that stuff, and their peace of mind and their families and their children and the relationships that they have at home, those start having stress because of this situation. Or if it's in the relationship, you start creating an unsafe space for your home. So I have to end this because this is one of my soapboxes, but hold space for people not to like you. Allow it. Be good. Take care of yourselves.